Hello, hi, how are ya? Welcome to the Oracle Consularship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. I will be your Oracle today. We were sent to deliberate the findings for it's a channeled reading. I just think it's open as well, if I can recall what's being talked about. Because there's been this cloaking in our energy, okay? And that's what I'm remembering. That's what I'm hearing. There's a little bit more because it's as if, like, as a collective, we're breaking free. Now, some of us are breaking free from magical things. That's also a cultural thing. If that's not in alignment with your philosophy, with your belief system, and it doesn't resonate, let's just shift the wording around. God is just a higher energy. It's something that connects us all. We all have a little bit of God alive in us. God is also the being that animates the universe. So God is as much an adjective as it is a noun, as it is a verb, etc., so on, so have you. Now, for some of us, it's blasphemy if we believe in a being that we are submissive to or that is the Almighty. That's in alignment, okay? Now, magic. Magic is from a gift. It's the part in us that resonates with God or the divine, right? Now, sometimes it's given and taken away, and then some of us go to another lesser God or a subordinate entity, something that's not the most high, to get that power back or get something similar to that power. Okay. So that's what this kind of is about, because when your power comes from the divine, it's the sun card. When it comes from a lower source, it's this card right here, the moon. Now, the moon isn't always bad. Okay, so if you're not confused yet, welcome. Um, this means the dark night of the soul. It means the descent into the subconscious. It also does mean the lower astrals. It could rule a lot of things: ghosts, lesser demons, disincarnate beings, those who are under the okay, I'm overstimulated. Who are under the veil of wait for a second, I'm sorry. Okay. Those who are under the veil of illusion, delusion, confusion. Now that when it's to an individual, it's the seven of cups. It means the veil or mirror magic or gaslighting or mirage or glamour, a facade of some kind. Now, when it's collective, it's the moon card. It means a hidden agenda, ulterior motives, maybe even hidden enemies, orchestrations, machinations, right? Strategies, right? Tactics, right? The matrix, right? Lost in the seas of time, under illusion, delusion, confusion. Okay, so l'imperatore, the emperor, this is not just the powers that are soon to be the powers that were. It doesn't just mean demiurgos, the demiurge. It doesn't just mean, I need to pause for a moment. This could mean, I'll be honest, this is not the word I want to use, but it is coming into my intuition, the lesser God. Um, to me, this is a demigod. It's a person who has taken a vow and they're very aware of the God alive in them because there's like a bigger G and a lesser G. And, without the proper guardrails to that conversation, it can go off the tracks very easily. And also, people are very reactive when you talk about spirituality. So, whatever you believe, if it serves you and it connects you to a higher, a bigger, a brighter, a better, then that's fine. If it's very dogmatic, meaning you're looking outside of yourself for answers and you're no longer aware of the calling inside of you, that's when it becomes precarious. And yeah, okay, for some of us it is very wild and feral, even if you lost the call of the wild. For others of us, it's very aligned and prim and proper and policy, procedure, protocol. So there's no wrong way. The only bad option is one option. But what I like to say is there is something that connects us to the all that is, the all that was, the all that ever will be. And a lot of times when we start talking about traditional African religions or indigenous religions or something that bridges the secular with the spiritual or the secular with the sacred, there is a kind of universal concept and idea. And oftentimes I'll ask, like, what was the religion of your mother? The wombs, plural, that you descend from. So there's this demiurgos, I'm getting that, demiurge, but a lot of times people have a negative connotation to that. It's the lesser God, it is the smaller God. It doesn't necessarily mean we need to worship them because we don't do self-worship here. But this also can mean something that's leading in the dark, something that's hidden or behind the scenes that has power, sovereignty over us. Okay. So this is an open reading and it's still channeled. And we do have 4 cards for this overall reading, but we're going to lay more. And as we lay as we lay additional cards, they're going to clarify or modify these 4 cards here as we're gathered today. I want to say, if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. Again, if you're new, welcome home. You belong. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for your continued support. It's a delight and an honor to serve. Thank you for allowing the pleasure to do so. We'll be imposing the guidance from This Might Hurt Tarot. Okay, it's over at Liminal 11 Publishing, and it's by Isabella Rotman. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. I encourage you to use the comments. I will not comment back, but we will not comment back. But, you know, we may take a few things or pointers or whatever. The comments right now are red because there's not that many. Okay, so Knight of Cups in the, I just heard the world. So there is some type of Strigeti Benedetti here. Knight of Cups in the Moon card could be Pisces rising, Mars in the 12th house, Mars in Pisces. Okay. But we all come from the goddess, and to her we are reborn. So here on earth, we have a promise in our life, especially if we're chosen, if we're divine, if we're a priestess, a seer, a prophet, if we're working through some type of sacred gift to make the world a bigger, brighter, better place, if we're part of the great orchestration, the grand design, the great plan, you know, we do have a promise in our life. This 10 of Pentacles, yes, it's legacy. It could be corporations, institutions, family planning, estates, trust, but it also could be what we were destined. The words that come with this, besides all those other words, legacy, etc., could be destined, birthright, the promise on our life. Okay, compare this to the 10 of Cups. This is what was destined. The 10 of Cups would be what was intended. This is our spiritual inheritance. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups would be our celestial endowment. So there's something here that we kind of came for. And even if we're male, you know, even if we're not male assigned or identified, maybe we're not even it's impolite these days to talk about the body, but even if we're not assigned male at birth or identify as male currently, this could be our duty and obligations, regardless of the divine masculine. Because if we don't identify as the divine masculine, this could be our duties and obligations, even our role at work. This could be the place where we stand watch on guard, is that immovable post. Kind of what, like I said, where we stand watch. This could also be the place from which we plan to take action and to manifest. Let's compare it to the Empress. The Empress is where we're loving, caring, and nurturing. It's where we're receptive and creative. Okay, it's where we are in gestation. Empress, where there's conception and gestation. Here, this is where there's inception and manifestation. Okay, so it's a little bit different, right? Okay. And it's always an open reading if there's all this freaking talking before we get into the cards. But it's still channeled. Okay, so we have the Moon, Emperor, Knight of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Moon, Emperor, Knight of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Moon, Emperor, Knight of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. The Moon is the dark night of the soul. It's the descent into the subconscious. It's walking around through the dark before we find the light. Sometimes things are haunting us there. They're scary, they're hidden, they're imperceivable. There could be a glamour, a mirage, some type of smoke or gas. Then we have l'imperatore, that's our duties and obligations, where we're taking command, we're large and in charge, we're a boss, we're an alpha. This is where we're taking actions from the heart. The knights drive things forward according to life, past, spirit, karma, destiny. And then the cups, they're driving things forward according to, okay, knights driving things forward according to life, past, spirit, karma, destiny. Add in cups, this is your heart in your hand, your heart on your sleeve, but also actions of the heart, or it's taking actions that are authentic, genuine, sincere. Cups are authentic, genuine, sincere. Then we have Ten of Pentacles. We went through all of that. So I'll just remind you, it is legacy or estate, meaning family planning, corporations, institutions, but it also could be our birthright, our destiny, or our spiritual inheritance. Remember, as we lay more cards, it'll be clarifying or modifying. So Queen of Cups with the Moon card, not only do we have Mars in Pisces or Pisces rising, now we have Moon in Pisces or a Sagittarius rising, definitely Sagittarius rising with the Nine of Wands. Moon would be in the first house, then in Sagittarius. Uh, Four of Cups with the Eight of Pentacles. So, you know what I'm getting thus far is that we needed to stand our ground, manifest something, secure a position, find our way in the world. And the things that are on our mind, the things that are on our heart, the things that are in our mind, the things that are in our spirit, they're coming to the gate, to the threshold, knocking at the door, asking to pull through, come through. And there's some things we need to allow and some things we need to disallow, but it's according to Eight of Pentacles. Are we steady on that grind? Are we on that thug thistle? Are we on that hustle, that flow? You know, are we down up in it? Are we handling business? Is that what's up? Is that what's going on? I'm hearing that song, What It Is Though, What's Up? Yeah, so we're kind of straddling both sides of the fence or a foot in both worlds. We understand that little bit of savage, that little bit of brutal, that little bit of crazy. Sometimes you need to come hard, come harder. You know, stand on business, come through, pull through, be about what you're about. And sometimes that requires a little bit of feral, wild, okay, untamed, even unhinged at times. But with moderation, everything in moderation, including moderation. Um, so we have, like I said, we're straddling both worlds. This is coming through. It's a straight up channel. But then the other part of that is then we also know like we have to stand strong and secure, hold the line. Don't recede, don't retreat, actually push forward. Over here, dear. Excuse me, the cat is like not. So in that sense, it's not about fluidity, it's about surety. Like what is it that our intention, you know, where are we? Okay, I'm getting distracted here. The cat is doing something. Pardon me. I'm hearing like we need to have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I was explaining that in a way that was a bit confusing. So the divine feminine attracts versus goes after. Instead of chasing down butterflies and honeybees, they're gonna attract a garden that attracts the butterflies and honeybees, if that makes any sense. So there's both that warrior and that queen aspect to us, and it doesn't matter about our gender. whether it's identified as sign of birth or whatever. It's not about that. It's about the polarity. Because we've had to do one thing and now we're switching to the other pole. So really what it is we should be in our own energy. 8 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. We should be in the energy working on what our destiny was. And that's really easier to understand for some of us by understanding what our gifts are. Our gifts, when we put those gifts out into the world, it creates an energy where we're aligning to our destiny, the calling on our life and our birthright. And then we can create some type of foundation, 10 of Pentacles. We can create some type of system, structure, foundation, Emperor. Because on the other side was like a lot of things that would start, but they would be misconnections, false starts maybe. And we probably were authentic. Knight of Cups. See, the Knight of Cups plus 4 of Cups means desiring detachment. But now we have the Sun card, when before was the Moon. The Moon and the Sun together mean mystery revealed. We do have to kind of drum through the depths of our subconscious. Moon card. So it's interesting, we have 3 kings back to back. So that's the Emperor. 3 kings back to back. I don't mean to laugh, but I do mean to cackle. With the Sun, that's a boom, data, there you go. See, the Sun and the Emperor mean graduation, level up, rank increase. It also means like a completion of some kind. It also means masculine beauty. So it doesn't always mean like you're a dude or a man, you know. It could mean like you're sturdy McSturdy, you're stable McStable. Your house of cards will not come tumbling down. Nobody can huff and puff and blow your house down. You're too strong. But it's not strong in terms of strength. That would be the Strength card. It's strong in terms of systems, structures, foundation, self-governing, self-mastered, self-guided, self-oriented, self-leading. You know, the word is self-possessed, self-oriented, self-guided, self-leading, not looking outside, external for answers. We can go within and find that wisdom. With the Moon here, it's clarified by 2 cards already. Let's lay this last layer and get the whole clarification. Now we have Queen of Wands, King of Wands, 2. Okay, so finally we get a little bit of timing as well. So about a week ago, there was some type of revelation or mystery revealed. Okay, so Moon plus Sun card means mystery revealed. Hangman plus Moon card means genius. It could also just mean that we don't know how we know what we know. We don't understand why we have these answers that we didn't have a week ago. There's really no other way to say that. Empress, oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm saying Empress and I don't see the Empress card yet, so. Yeah, we're moving some cycles, shifting it around. We're getting up out of whatever doldrum that we're in. We're done, Nick done. We're not gonna play no games. We're not gonna have no funny business. It's been done over for a minute. Okay. Listen, we're moving from this in the dark, La Luna, the moon, over to Emperor, l'Imperatore, system, structures, foundations, but said differently, self-governed, self-mastered. We may be Queen of Wands, Emperor, moon in either moon in Sagittarius or moon in Aries. We may be King of Wands, Emperor, Sun in Aries or Capricorn rising. With the Aries moon, it could be Aries moon or Cancer rising. So I said that the wrong way. It could be Aries moon or Capricorn rising. It could also be Aries sun or Cancer rising. Now I'm getting a strong Capricorn rising energy and I don't know where it's from. And oh, but we also have with the 4 of Cups, the Cancer rising. Yeah, so the axis between Cancer and Capricorn is the World card. I'll be right back. The Queen of Wands, Nine of Wands means needing strength, needing. It's kind of, I always look at the Queen of Wands as the Nine of Wands as like a battery being charged up. It's needing all the other energy to lead back to you, all the other alms or tithes or action or power to come back. Think of it as like an origin point or like a source code. Queen of Wands, Seven of Wands, that's needing to stand your ground, needing a firewall. Knight of Cups, Four of Cups, that's like I said, a desire to detach. Queen of Cups, Four of Cups, that's needing to detach. King of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, that's needing to work, needing to be in alignment, needing to learn. King of Cups, Ten of Cups, that's need to manifest something, to enshrine. So what we're doing is we're setting up our life the way it was intended to be, and we might not understand all the ins and outs of that. Again, Moon and the Sun card, when that comes out together, it means the mystery is solved, the mystery is revealed. But it also means that there's some kind of delayed achievement. What it is until we face the things alive in the depths of our soul, until we face the boogeyman in our own closet that lives alive in us that differently, until we look at our shadow, there's going to be some things that's not available, accessible to us, especially the type of accomplishment or achievement that we find valuable. There's some things that are an enigma, that are enigmatic or mysterious to us. We can feel them, we can sense them, but we can't quite reach out and touch them. Because this Ten of Pentacles, this birthright, is predicated on how well are we able to defend and protect our position. If we're manifesting, we're going to need to set our life up in a way that requires discernment, proper judgment, and strength. And it needs to be embodied. It's not something we need to show or flaunt, or it's a no cap situation. Seven of Swords, Ten of Wands, Eight of Cups, Three of Cups, Six of Swords, Temperance. So like I was saying, Sagittarius energy and Emperor energy, which is Aries. There is some cloaking. I keep getting this, but we're not getting exactly. See, I was told to do a reading yesterday. I was tired. I wanted to take a nap. I did, and I sat there and started writing, and I fell into a dizzy. I got very creative. A tizzy, not a dizzy. But again, when we have the Temperance and the Moon card, it means a shapeshifter, probably somebody hiding or cloaking themselves in our own energy. We don't have the Seven of Cups, but we do have the Seven of Wands, Seven of Swords. When there's two or more sevens come out, what that means is a warning, or three sevens would mean an alert, or four sevens would mean emergency. So we have an alert here, not an alarm. Alarm is three sevens. We have an alert. A Seven of Wands, Seven of Swords. So Seven of Swords means, okay, there may be some type of manipulation. There's a pair of eights here, so I can't rule that out. Two or more eights in a reading means one of a couple few things. So we have a double eight, could mean spell work. With a double seven, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the moon and two queens. I have to say that. The moon, the tower, those are two of the three baneful brigada, meaning malevolent energies. Not them individually, but when they come out together, it means there may be some type of maleficence. In addition, we have a double eight, which means spell work, or it means manipulation, or it means that we're learning something through spending a lot of time, energy, effort, and attention in some place or space. Now, we don't have a Two of Pentacles, so there's not two sides of the coin. We don't have any winged cards except this Temperance, which means we were one way and then we heal into another way. The Judgment card is not here. And then we do have the Hangman, which would say that we had a little bit of a unawakened or unhealed perception, and then it evolves over time into a healed perspective. So it starts out as an unhealed it starts out as an unhealed perception, and it heals into a perspective. So initially we were dumb, deaf, blind, and stupid, some kind of idiotic, imbecilic, moronic, twiddly dumb fuck kind of deal. Excuse my language. That's where we started. And I don't mean to impress that or impose that on anybody, but I want to dramatize that idea. Because the sun and the hangman means a delayed accomplishment. So there was something here we were supposed to get done, and it took a few minutes. We might have stumbled around a little bit, maybe even in the dark with the moon card. We tried, but maybe we had a miseducation, a misperception, a miscarriage of justice, some kind of mislabel, misjudge, misperceive. Queen of Cups to Eight of Cups is needing to withdraw. Queen of Cups, Four of Cups is needing to detach. So there's some kind of stop doing something. There's two cards that means let it go. We have both of them here. Eight of Cups means let something go, leave it behind. I know you put a lot into it. The Ten of Wands means put something down or you're not going to be able to complete. So there's something that we're doing that's just not the way we think it's going to come together. It's not, it's a fake out. It's an op. It's just not going to happen that way. And when I say there's two cards that mean let it go, and both of them come out, it's a big, big sign that we need to figure something out. And then also, both of these are Saturn ruled. And then we have the corresponding cards to these energies. So, like, let's read this down because the Eight of Cups is Saturn and Pisces. We also have Pisces here, the moon. The Ten of Wands is Saturn and Sagittarius. We also have Sagittarius here, Temperance. This is a revelation that needs to come, the Tower. And it's shocking. It might dismantle us. I don't think so because we're building here. Erecting a foundation, Tower, and the Ten of Wands. We're building something. We're going after something. And I feel like it might be some kind of hustle or flow. It might be some job, some dreams, some aspirations, some heart's desires, some kind of soul's ambition. It's really a foundation, though, because we don't have the Star or the Strength card. That's heart's desires, soul's ambitions. We have the Emperor. System, structures, foundation, building a home, building a family, building a life, chasing a job, chasing a career, chasing that check. It can happen, but not the way we thought it was. Learning a practical skill, Eight of Pentacles. Learning a spiritual skill, Eight of Cups. That means we're going to be spiritual and paid, not corporate and paid, not owning our own business and paid. It's spiritual and paid. You hear me? You feel me? So King of Swords, Seven of Swords, that's wanting truth, strategy, tactic, cunning, or it's wanting to be sneaky or wanting to move in private. And Seven of Swords with the moon, hidden agendas, ulterior motives, hidden enemies. Something is veiled or obscured. The two cards that are veiled, well, three if you count the Three of Swords, the Seven of Cups or the moon, those are both cards that obscure and veil things. So we start here with the moon, we go towards the Emperor. So we start out in the dark and we go towards self-governance, self-mastery. Clarifying this energy is the mystery revealed and finding spiritual strength and not just discernment, but judgment. the path that leads to this spiritual strength and judgment is truth, cunning, strategy, tactic, basically a witness. Three of Cups, testimony, witness, prayers answered, or some type of reunion. That's what leads to this starting out in the dark. So we needed to go towards something, struggle, whether it was fail or not, go towards something, arrive at an obstacle, a difficulty. Said differently, a trial, a tribulation. The Tower card is one of the trial cards. It can be a tribulation, it can mess your life up. Or if you surrender, it could just awaken you. Not particularly a pleasant experience, but it's an experience all the same. And what leads to the self-governance, self-mastery is the Six of Swords. So basically receiving grace. Sixes are receiving, the swords would be grace. Moving on to calm emotional waters, the river Styx, being led out of the dark, led out of hell. Hell is as much of a condition of being as it is a time-space dimension. Because calmer emotional waters means putting something down. The Six of Swords is clarified by the Eight of Cups and the Ten of Wands. So Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. From Los Veil, we will be using La Vida Sabila Daily Oracle to deliberate the findings for any type of corresponding or correlative energy. I'm looking at this Eight of Cups and Ten of Wands as clarified by the Six of Swords. And we have Desperata per Gelosia. So we're going to have to put the gun to our head and call out, dial a prayer, so that we can realize that we're stewarding something that's already kind of left us. Delirante is usually being dumb, deaf, blind, and stupid, imbecilic, moronic, okay, idiotic, but it could also, we're holding on to something that's already left us behind because we're going towards this way and this is going towards this way. So it should be like this, but it's like this, which means it's opposing. We are taking care of something that's not taking care of us. We're carrying something along that's not trying to follow after us. We're dragging something or someone to the top that doesn't really want to see us at the top. Because we don't realize it's the thing we really want wants us, but since we're not open and honest even with ourselves about it, it's not coming, it's not happening. And the only thing that we're holding on to is more despair and desperation because with something out of alignment. So we have a mystery revealed here. I want to know more about that. The sun and the moon together means either melodrama or a mystery revealed. And I'm hearing the song, This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius. I love Hair, but there's other songs there. So a message should be coming through. Because something, even though we're acting a fool or we're moving in ways that are going to tear it all down to the ground, there's something here that's just constant. This is a double 10 as well. 10 of diamonds, 10 of hearts. So what's going to happen there is that there's a cycle. But we need to come back. We've left something. Something's gotten out of our hands. I was asking why the Ten of Cups wasn't present, and then the other side said this, because we're not being in service to the divine, we're being in service to ourselves. But the divine is a step closer than it was a moment ago. So when we get the message that we have something already waiting for us, then we'll find that missing piece. Because if we don't, this is what's going to happen. The Tower, disgrazia, which either means disgrace, disaster, or the missing piece. So I was saying, like, listen, like, the Eight of Cups, Saturn, the Ten of Wands, Saturn, and then the Saturn card that we have here, which most people don't know, is the Tower. A lot of people think this or that, and yes, zodiac wise, it is Mars, but astrologically, it's Uranus conjunct Saturn. That's what the Tower means. And then here comes despair again. Yeah, so we had to get really in it. It had to be more difficult to stay the same than it was to change, or we weren't going to get the message. Because we didn't know that the divine was moving things behind our back, and we were just going to stay stuck on stupid until. And I know I'm talking harshly, so I just want to put that out there. So I was looking at this Queen of Wands and Nine of Wands when this card popped out. So we're actually staying in discomfort. We're this person who works for the divine, King of Hearts, but we're staying in Four of Swords. I mean, Four of Spades, Amalato. The sickness, the malady. And there's going to need to be something's got to give in order for us to rejoin the kingdom. I know what I need to say, but I need to let it rip. We acting stupid. We disobeying the edict on our life. We're reneging on the contract before we came into the physical. And a lot of people in the world, they can exist without the divine. But there are people here that are special. They're called the chosen. And unfortunately, their GPS system is sacred. And if they're starting to ignore the dashboard, if they're starting to ignore the GPS lady, rerouting, turn left, recalculate, if we start ignoring the cosmic GPS, things get really messed up right quickly. Okay. So that's what I really need to say. And I was so kind saying that. So I'm getting a little bit of Mars and Leo because I was looking for the Leo energy and I just found it. Yeah. So what it is we need to be temperate. I know the temperance card is up here, but everything's already in place. And we're looking at where we're stuck or how we're stuck until we reunite with the divine. And it's really the goddess, not God as we know. So I know this is like not well known, but the goddess is more about the embodiment of God. So God is the thing that connects everything to everything else. But when you have a visit or an experience of God, it's actually not God, it's the goddess. Goddess is the form that God takes on. God is really the attribute. So there's many more gods than there is goddesses, because the goddess only takes on a couple forms, like the ocean and the land and etc. So, virtue, that's an attribute of God. Temperance, that's an attribute of God. Patience is an attribute of God. Honesty, kindness, those are all attributes of God. There's multitudes of them, but the goddess has very few forms, if that makes sense. So this is something from the goddess. We serve the divine in whatever way makes sense to us. Something has been cloaking itself in our energy that's not of the goddess. It's there, and it was made by them, but they've forsaken their oath, their path, or whatever. There's some fallen energy here. The tower means fallen, and we need to protect ourselves from becoming fallen. A thing about the tower and the Seven of Swords means somebody has angel wings. And then, I said the Seven of Wands, I meant the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands in the tower means somebody has angel wings, and we still have them here. We haven't lost them. There's not a one single five here. So let's look at this Ten of Wands with the Temperance now. So we were going to get a message from the Oversoul, or also known as the Soul Group, but we had to struggle a little bit. And it was always going to happen. It was never going to not happen. Okay. Something that when we matured, when we emerged from that cocoon, which means we started out as a caterpillar, but now we're a butterfly, we've transformed. Then we got the heart of the matter, the Holy Grail. And it was always going to be there. It was never going to not be there. Signore is the King of Hearts. So what's this Eight of Cups with the moon? Message from the other side. So the thing we don't recognize is that the divine is always there for us. We just have to reach out and grab it. And that might be this thing that we need. So the breakdowns and the upheavals and the misconnections and the false starts is all messages from the divine. Because the tower, it does mean fallen, but it also means a watchtower, the sentinel. We always have some type of eye of God on us. But if you look at the symbology of God, really, we have to reach out for God. God is already there. All we need to do is perceive. So we need to be dutiful. And I don't mean like obedient, which I'm sure is there, but it means free will versus divine will. If we have our own selfish agenda, we're going to miss a couple few things. And it's fine. Like I said, most people can go around without tapping into the divine, but the chosen, they don't have that choice. If they want to exercise that choice, what happens is they lose the blessings and the benefits they were promised. The contract gets voided. So Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. We'll be using the minor arcana from the Cosmic Coven Tarot to deliberate the findings for any type of pairings, especially around numerology, like a double this or triple this, etc. And this is by Lillian Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado. We're going to look into this double seven. We have a pair of sevens here, Seven of Swords and Seven of Wands. Eight of Pentacles, and on our side, King of Pentacles. So we need to fall in line, get that duty. Because this opposite side, they're being voided and revoked. There was something in our energy, some kind of energy that was material that wanted us to focus on the here and now. And that's the thing, that the devil only rules over the earth. We call the devil the enemy. So something else got voided. Something at the gate needs to have its access revoked, because what we're doing is trying to manifest according to our role here, Eight of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Now, this is a delayed message. That's what's going on in the spiritual, because the overall energy is a backfire. Something is no longer, something that was deeply attached is no longer working. Something needs to change, and really it's a standing up and facing a fear kind of deal. So that's what the seven is. We have a message from the other side. I don't know what it is talking about, so we'll just say that's still for the double seven. Normally it wouldn't be. But a message from the other side here is the Seven of Pentacles. Something had laid the foundation for us to be, yeah, glamour and gaslighting. We're at triple seven, this came out. Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Seven of Wands. Something was hope. There's a disappointment from the other side that we're not staying stupid, that we're finally rising up, handling up, and we're finally getting the message and no longer being confused. And that's the truth. The other side is disappointed that we're finally hearing the truth and we're no longer stuck on stupid, excuse my language. Okay, so that was for the pair of eights. And that was the spell work. It was the spell of Kingu, confusion. We were tribute for something. If we were able to, if this other side was successfully able to get us to forsake our mission, it would have won. But that got canceled out. It got canceled. That hex lifted, that spell lost its power. That curse broke. Hex broke, curse lifted, it didn't work. It didn't work. So now we're going to look at this pair of queens. So this is a trauma. There is some type of conflict here. If there is another energy, it's of an opposing mind. It doesn't want us to go on the path that we are on. In fact, we're a golden goose. We're supposed to manifest this Ten of Pentacles in this lifetime. So the thing that's happening in the spiritual realm right now is Six of Cups. We are reconciling our agreement with the divine. The Six of Cups also does mean a sacred agreement. And it also means that we're walking into sanctuary and refuge. If we can align our path the right way, we're safe. So the overall situation is that we're standing strong. Something didn't work that was trying to work. An attack against us didn't work. The Seven of Wands. We have divine protection. Seven of Wands is here as well. We have divine protection. This sacred destiny of ours, this spiritual inheritance, is under protection. We just needed to have a dark night of the soul, the moon. We needed to confront what was alive in ourselves. We were in the crosshairs of something, being targeted, but also probably we might have had some shame or guilt on our end why we couldn't live in the material world the right way, or why we didn't handle up on some type of connection that we should have, or there was something that we're guilty about that's just really not right. There's no reason to be guilty about it because we're under protection. And part of those things were to learn. Something seized upon us, it exploited us. And the thing that's happening now in the spiritual realm is that we're finding judgment. King of Swords is judgment. Compare that to King of Swords is judgment. Compare that to Queen of Swords, discernment. So we're finding judgment. And that's opening up a door for us. This other energy, if it is attached to us, it's being left to its own devices. Now, we have a triple king here. Let's do this. What is this triple king? Nine of Pentacles. That's a lot of strength and a little fight left in us. Okay, so we had to face some type of heartache, heartbreak. We were separated from something, probably because there were terms and conditions, and our path was not going to expand the way we were going about things. There was a lot of energy being projected at us because right now in the spiritual, there is something trying to seize. There's like a raider. There's an entity attached to our energetic field, maybe not us, that wants to lord over, preside over, speak over our life. It wants to implement some type of change that's not authorized. And we have a pair of tens here, 10 of Wands and 10 of Pentacles. So this cycle is completing. That's good. This is the message from the other side. Pentacles, yeah. So that's a swap, destiny swap. Something really thought it was going to be successful, but it wasn't. Because we were more realized and actualized than we needed, than it realized, and that we knew as well. Nine of Pentacles left to her own devices, but that's also God sovereign and free. It's also high worth, high value, high deservingness. Seven of Pentacles, there was a strategy, an agenda, a tactic, a plan. Nine of Swords is what is going on in the spiritual. There's something is backfiring. And so that's what the overall energy is. Both of us are pushing forward and we're the ones winning. So we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. That's a pairing. It could be a witch and a warlock trying to swap destinies with us, or trying to attend to whatever foundation they laid. Yeah, something is trying to get us to leave the path of our spiritual inheritance. And we're pushing through. Something wants to swap places with our spiritual destiny. That's the thing we need to understand here is we are destined for greatness in this life, and it's not according to what we initially thought. However, we were conditioned and programmed. However, we were taught or raised up or grew up out of the womb, it was not 100% on point. Maybe 50%, maybe 80%, but not 100% on point. Whatever is alive in our intuition, whatever is alive in our heart, in our soul, in our mind, in our body, in our spirit, that is more in alignment with what is intended for us and what was destined for us. So the king and queen of wands can be a witch and a warlock, but it also could be a power couple. Yeah, so something with hiding in our energy, cloaking to eventually do a destiny swap. That's a very sneaky seven of swords, a very sneaky tactic. Okay, we got a lot here. So here's what's currently going on. So we're magnetic, enthusiastic, outgoing, generous, leader, romantic, or creative. That's this emperor over here. This other side is saying, I became inspired by your presence, your energy, and your beauty. Without you, I'm missing the tools to create my next masterpiece, but it's not God-given. They are fallen. Tower card with the King of Wands is because they're a warlock or a witch, or they went to the infernal kingdom to get their power. They were born Knight of Cups, Four of Cups, but they detached, which means they forsake the divine. I want to take action towards you. I want to talk to you, be with you, feel you. Please be patient. So they're thinking they can come back and offer love. With okay, so this might okay. Uh-oh. That's a whole other reading. Um, Something was attached to us that got in through romance. That's what I'll say right now. I ain't got it. I can't be doing all that. I don't want to extend this reading. But that thing blew up. That thing blew up. Whatever. Oh, okay, there's a mic drop if I've ever seen one. Okay, so I have experienced so many similar things. We have experienced so many similar things in our life. I always thought you were the only one I was the only one to have had this experience. I take comfort in knowing you truly understand. Somebody felt simpatico, but they misused, mistreated, mishandled because the answer is no, definitely not. They can't come back. There's distance between us for a reason. But we are connected through the dimensions, so they're kind of deluded, thinking like that they still have access to us or something like that. They have access to us through this agreement, Six of Cups, but they're never really gonna. They are the test that we passed, and we are the test that they failed. See, because unawakened. Physically blocking or ignoring the connection, fear of losing their old life, feel something is missing, but is in denial. That means they lack self-reflection and accountability. They're not able to pull through, come hard, come harder because they're on some BS, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. Yeah, it's a no. There's something attached to them, a spiritual attachment. There's a demon with their fist up their booty, something like that. In a committed relationship with somebody else, yeah, the devil, afraid of the unknown, karmic ties and responsibilities. Yeah, that's a no. Like I said, something is cloaking itself in our energy. That's the purpose of. Okay, so then this fell down to the ground. Grant me a moment. It falls to the floor, comes to the door. Yeah, they're running out of time. That's why we saw the Nine of Swords so many times. I'll have to do a follow-up reading to this. I can't extend this. I need to stop. I'm overstimulated. I need to grab My marble's about the ground. Yeah, see, we were in a union, but see how that's in reverse? So it's no longer. They realized that they had something and they lost it. It friendly, but no longer in association. They would hope to reunite with us in some kind of way, but there's no reconciliation here. I want to commit to you. I want to hold your hand in sickness and in health. I want to walk into the sunset with you and never look back. I need to release certain commitments and fully commit to you. Okay, but we have the Temperance card and no Four of Wands. So it's not a soulmate union, it's a false. It's not a twin flame union, it's a false one. And the divine masculine is here, but the divine feminine is not. Even though two queens came out, the emperor should be here, it's not. We have three kings and the emperor. So it's the same person, but these two queens could be talking about competition. Yeah, the victim mentality, help, regret, critical junctures, cycles, maybe leading towards no, and they're desensitized. They're on some illusion, delusion, confusion. They on a no. See, the pain of a separation is tearing me apart. I don't know how to handle my feelings and emotions. Instead of working through the pain, I use and take whatever helps me feel numb. And I'm hearing that they're attaching to other people, so they might be exchanging body fluids in some kind of nasty way. And no judgment. They're doing something that's not in alignment with what's going to be their spiritual path. They're doing something that's more according to free will versus divine will, and that's their choice. That's their prerogative. But what that's going to get them is further away from the path. Because there was one thing that I picked up as well, and I lost it. Something is driving the ship, and it's not their consciousness. It's another being. Okay, because we started this with saying something's cloaking itself in our energy. But Seven of Swords is breaking out, breaking free, especially with the Tower breaking out, breaking free. Tower in the Temperance card means that we're receiving spiritual guidance. And if we choose to let go and detach, we're going to get what we were destined in this life. And this other person, they're going to be left falling because they didn't honor their commitment. And if we are under some type of protection, the 6 and the 7 mean that protection has been imposed, period. That's enough with the 7 of Wands and the Temperance. So it's like a confirmation. Protection has been imposed, so it's possible. I don't know here because I don't get the malice at all. I don't get contempt at all. So, or I mean, I don't get malice or deception at all. What I'm getting is unhealed, unawakened, and protection has been imposed, which means this energy that we're connected to. There's three people in this relationship: 3 of Cups, us, them, and their demon. And we're no longer connected to this person because the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands are not looking at each other. The King of Wands is looking towards the past, the Queen of Wands is looking towards the future. And this Emperor is where they should be now. So it's something that's driving the ship, and it's not them. If protection was imposed on us by the divine, which I suspect it is, because I have enough to confirm that, what that means is that they're not honoring their side of the agreement, and the agreement's going to be voided. It's not here yet, but it was in the clarifications, the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Swords, which means the contract got voided. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. So before we close with the prayer, there's some other oracle messages here. I want to get them out before my brain gets off them. I took a moment and went to the gate. I'm just getting a lot. A lot's coming through, pulling through. And it's an overwhelming amount of messages here. So I already read through these earlier. Help, regret, critical junctures, cycles, maybe leaning towards no and desensitized there. But The overall nature of the situation is karmic. So I'll be honest, we're not getting, and there will be noises in the background. I apologize. I'm not getting a bunch of fives, which means karmic lessons. What it says here is I know I'm settling if I am without you, but I feel I am stuck because I am afraid of change. I'm used to what I have, even if it is not enough for me. I'm working on feeling deserving of you. And here, let me just tell you, this position that this card is in is for both of us. It's the overall situation. So both of us are a learning situation. And that's why I said false twin, because the way that the twin flame energy works is that we come across somebody and we have to grow, we have to learn, we have to evolve. And if we don't evolve together, grow together, we actually grow apart. And the moment we try to make it something other than what it is when it becomes karmic. Because a soulmate, all soulmates are karmic, all twin flames are karmic. The label of a karmic relationship is when the lesson didn't happen or the attachment is so strong that it creates more lessons instead of dissipates a lesson that's already there. Okay. We also have what's in the future, or not the future, but what's in the spiritual fifth dimension, basically, is naughty thoughts. So there's some type of, you know, like coveting instead of treasuring. Instead of cherishing, they covet us in some kind of way. I can't help but want you physically, sexually, and mentally. You're all that I think about when I am alone and lost in my thoughts. The thought of you drives me insane. Where they are specific to them, not us, not the both of us, them, only them, is drinking the Kool-Aid. So they're not 100% with reality. There's something fake, phony, fictitious about them, Seven of Swords, almost imposter. They may be a shell. I keep getting that something is, they have an attachment of some kind. I followed blindly what everybody else was telling me. They made me believe our connection was not real and that it was just a waste of my time. I know that was untrue. Yeah, knowingly goes along with other people's plans and opinions without thinking of their own, listens to others blindly and disregards their own feelings. So where we are is mirrored nature. We saw them clearly, and what we reflected back to them was a distorted image because they couldn't perceive us correctly. There was misperception, misattribution, mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving. That's the ambiguity of an unclaimed love, an unclaimed attraction. Typically, one of us needs to walk on by because our boundaries are part of our sovereignty, and somebody needs to be direct. They need to name it. They need to take ownership of what the situation is or what the situation is longing, like calling to become. If you're feeling under duress or feeling solemn, I feel it too. When you're thinking of me, I am thinking of you. Our connection is deep and profound, sometimes difficult to understand. So we want them to attend to the longing. And I do feel like we might have just recently got out of this. We have Seven of Wands, we have Ten of Pentacles with the Temperance card. There's a lot of healing on our end and exceptional discernment. Both the Temperance and the Ten of Pentacles are Mercury and Virgo. I know this is the zodiac of Sagittarius, but astrologically, it actually means Mercury and Virgo, which is the exaltation. There are cards in the deck that talk about the exaltation. This is exalted Mercury, the Temperance card. So great source of reflection and growth, willingness to understand and genuinely connect. They show you your deepest fears, insecurities, and shadows through action. Yeah, so patience. We don't really need patience anymore. Where we are is we're preserving in the face of delay, suffering, and silence, but holding out, continuing on with life struggles, but having hope that things will turn out fine. The thing that we need to know is that to work on ourselves and let them catch up. Move on and let them catch up. It's fine to hold space, but we're holding space for their healing, not necessarily for the relationship to come together. The thing that's hardest in these kinds of connections is that we need to understand if it's not the right time, it's not the right person. Doesn't mean they can't become the right person, but we need to hold the prototype and move on into the future. Sentimentality, destiny. So they're getting us ready for something that's going to come because both of these came out upright. Yeah, soulmate in reverse, Otis opinions. Yeah, see, they got triggered and they said some, what I just heard, stupid-ish that they shouldn't have. And it might be something that we're over. We might not be in a connection right now. We might have moved out of it, but there's something from this connection that's an attachment that's allowing something to enter into our energy. We may be vulnerable because since we're connected to somebody, an entity, energy, ideology has access into our auric field through a twin flame connection that's now a false twin or a fallen twin. Pretty soon this connection is going to get dissipated. It's going to get revoked or rescinded. We might get reassigned because we're completing some type of cycle here. But on the other side, they're still coming up and through. They're pretty much on the lower end of the cycle. They need to face some self-illusion, delusion, confusion. They're being either manipulative or deceiving themselves, self-deceiving. They're going to fall soon, and they're going through a dark night of the soul. We're up out of all of that. We have the Seven of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the Emperor. We're working through everything. We've had completions already. They're still. We have two tens on our side, and they have nothing on their side in terms of completion or anything. In fact, all of their achievements are delayed. Accomplishments, all of their accomplishments, Sun card, are delayed. Hangman. They're going to need to confront themselves in the depths of their soul. So, just a quick prayer for all the still lost out there, to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the sea, the time trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional love, and universal oneness. Hello, Ledulo, hello, Ledu. Honoponopono, we love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, path illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May we be healthy, may we be whole, may we be well, may we be at peace, may we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, danava, and ashe. Sayonara, das vidanya, avida. This was a message about a connection that is not so much about the connection, it's about the healing from the connection and then moving on, moving forward. It's probably for most of us that we put a man became our plan. Okay, there's going to be some noise in the back. We might have been worshiping this person that we were connected to, like we worship the divine, and there needed to be a breakthrough. So preceding a breakthrough is usually a breakdown. And again, there may be some noise in the background. We don't hear this because the mic is pretty good. But the thing about that is we needed to go through the hurt walker. We needed to have an austere moment and to purify some of our, crazy la loca de lulu, whatever, what have you. And we got up out of that. We did the most of that. And the thing about it was that there was a withdrawal, some kind of harsh condition, some kind of hardship. So it needed to be. We weren't going to get with the program unless there wasn't. And the thing about that is what it was that something was blocking our divine path. We were moving closer into free will versus divine will. And we do have free will, but in order to have the things other people won't have, we need to make sacrifices that others won't make. When we're chosen, we're in a higher realm, a higher dimension, higher vibration. And the thing is, we're guided by faith, not by sight. And the guidance that we get is coming from a higher realm, seventh dimension, eighth dimension, ninth dimension, sixth dimension. Down here, the humans, we're in the third and fourth dimension. You hear what I'm saying? So, okay, we can have free will, but then we're going to be down here in the third, fourth dimension. We're going to manifest third, fourth dimensional things. Doesn't mean we can't do pretty well, but it's never, ever, ever going to be as great as what the divine or God intended for us. Does that make sense? So we had to get back to our spirit karma life path destiny, the calling in our life. And in order to do that, we needed to be in alignment. We needed to have an achievement. If that makes any sense. So it's been an honor and a pleasure and a privilege. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care. Bye. Smash that like button.